In Arizona real estate, the designated broker holds the ultimate responsibility for ensuring that all advertising conducted under the brokerage name complies with state law, the Arizona Department of Real Estate, ADRE rules, and professional ethical standards. Advertising is one of the most public-facing aspects of a real estate business. An inaccurate or misleading advertising can have serious legal and disciplinary consequences. Therefore, the supervision of all real estate, cemetery, and membership camping advertising is a non-delegable duty of the designated broker as outlined under ARS Section 32-2151.01, and the Commissioner's Rules R4-2 8-502G. These laws collectively place the burden of compliance squarely on the designated broker, who must monitor, review, and approve every advertisement before it is distributed or published. The principle behind broker advertising supervision stems from the ADRE's mission to protect the public from false or deceptive information. Because advertising is often the first impression a consumer receives of a real estate professional or property, the ADRE requires that every advertisement reflect honesty, accuracy, and transparency. A designated broker is responsible for reviewing and approving all advertising done by their salespersons, associate brokers, and teams to ensure that it complies with Arizona law. This includes advertisements for properties, personal branding, social media posts, business cards, open house flyers, digital campaigns, cemetery plots, and membership camping promotions. A broker's supervisory duty extends beyond merely granting permission to advertise. The designated broker must actively implement written policies and procedures to ensure compliance, as further reinforced by R4-28-1103, which requires brokers to exercise reasonable supervision and control over all licensees and brokerage activities. For example, a designated broker must review advertisements for accuracy of property information, inclusion of the brokerage name, and the avoidance of any misleading or exaggerated statements. If a salesperson posts a property listing on social media that omits the brokerage name or uses unverified information about the home, the broker may be held liable for failure to supervise, even if they did not personally create the advertisement. Advertising supervision also applies to specialized property types, such as cemetery property and membership camping sales. Advertisements for these property types must be truthful and cannot include promises, representations, or omissions that could mislead a purchaser. For instance, if a membership camping advertisement falsely claims lifetime guaranteed access, when such access depends on continued payment of fees, the ADRE could discipline both the salesperson and the designated broker. The adverse enforcement actions in such cases are based on the broker's legal obligation to review and control all promotional materials produced under their license authority. A real-world example can help illustrate this responsibility. Suppose a salesperson in a Phoenix brokerage creates a flyer promoting luxury living with no HOA for a new subdivision, but fails to verify that the property actually has a homeowners association. When the public later discovers the inaccuracy, the designated broker, not just the agent, can be disciplined under ARS Section 322153 for misrepresentation through failure to supervise advertising. Even if the agent acted independently, the ADRE views the broker as ultimately accountable for ensuring all advertising is truthful and compliant. The designated broker's supervisory obligations extend into modern forms of communication as well. Advertising on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Zillow, and YouTube must comply with the same regulations as printed materials. Each post, story, or listing must clearly identify the employing brokerage and avoid misleading content. Brokers are expected to educate their licensees on proper advertising practices and maintain documentation of their review process. ADRE recommends that brokers establish an internal approval workflow, such as requiring agents to submit all advertisements to the broker or marketing compliance officer for pre-approval, to demonstrate active supervision if questioned by the department. Supervision also includes monitoring the use of team names, logos, and doing business as DBA identities. Under R4-28-502, all advertising must clearly display the legal name of the brokerage as registered with ADRI in a manner equal to or greater than the prominence of the team or individual name. For example, a sign reading "The Smith Team Realty" must also include the brokerage name in equal font size and visibility. The broker is responsible for enforcing this rule and ensuring all licensees understand the importance of maintaining transparency. With the public failure to comply can lead to administrative penalties and fines against both the broker and the licensee. The importance of broker supervision is underscored by ADRE disciplinary history. In numerous cases, brokers have faced sanctions not because they engaged in direct wrongdoing, but because they failed to prevent or correct a licensee's unlawful advertising. These cases reinforce the concept that supervision is proactive, not reactive. A broker cannot simply claim ignorance. They must demonstrate ongoing oversight, education, and enforcement of proper advertising standards within their firm. Ultimately, advertising supervision embodies the broker's fiduciary and statutory duty to protect the public and maintain the integrity of Arizona's real estate profession. Through vigilant review and clear policies, brokers ensure that all marketing efforts meet the high standards of accuracy, legality, and professionalism expected under Arizona Law Review Summary. The designated broker holds the legal responsibility for supervising all real estate, cemetery, and membership camping advertising conducted under their license. Under R4-28-502 and ARS Section 32-2153, brokers must ensure all advertising is truthful, includes the employing brokerage name, and avoids any misleading statements. Supervision applies to both traditional and digital media, and failure to review or correct non-compliant advertising can result in disciplinary action against the broker. Active oversight, written policies, and documentation of the approval process are key elements of compliance. Discussion. Why does the ADRE hold designated brokers responsible for all advertising? Answer. Because R4-28-502 makes advertising supervision a non-delegable duty of the broker, ensuring accountability and consumer protection. What must all advertisements include under ADRE rules? Answer. They must clearly identify the employing brokerage name as registered with ADRE and avoid false or misleading claims. In compliance with R4-28-502, if an agent publishes an unapproved advertisement that violates ADRE rules, who may be disciplined? Answer. Both the agent and the designated broker, since the broker is responsible for supervision under ARS Section 32-2153. Closing remarks. Advertising supervision is one of the designated broker's most important responsibilities because it directly impacts public trust and compliance with Arizona law. Every piece of advertising reflects on the broker's integrity, the firm's professionalism, and the real estate industry as a whole. By exercising proactive oversight, maintaining clear policies, and fostering a culture of compliance, brokers not only protect their licenses, but also safeguard the interests of the clients and communities they serve.